Hey everyone, welcome back to HD Reddit Reads. Today's topic is, what is the stupidest way you've injured yourself? Let's get into it. To try to get a cheap laugh out of my ex, I threw a hammer as hard as I could at a tree. The hammer bounced off the tree, and I turned just in time for it to hit me in the small of my back. Miracle I'm not paralyzed. Thank goodness you weren't throwing an axe. I had no idea a hammer could/would even bounce off a tree. I thought it would just hit and drop to the ground. Didn't think it would ricochet right back at my back. When I was a kid, we had blue carpet in the living room. I had just watched some movie or show where the characters jumped into a painting, and I started to think maybe if I believed hard enough, the blue carpet would turn to a vast ocean. So I climbed up on the recliner and swan dove into the floor. When I was maybe 5 or 6, I had a reoccurring dream that if I ran downhill against the wind fast enough and jumped, I could fly. They were extremely realistic. It was also very frequent to the point where I began to doubt the status of their dreams. One day I noticed the wind was blowing up the hill we lived atop. I decided to try it. I sprinted full speed down this hill and leapt as hard as I could and promptly smashed my face against the sidewalk. Bending over to pick up a paper bag, a completely empty paper grocery store bag. It was standing upright, not even laying on the floor. I barely had even bent down to pick it up. Somehow, this triggered a cosmic alignment between two vertebrae and a nerve cluster, because suddenly, I fell to the floor in crippling pain. Could not get my back straight and had to crawl to the living room so I could lay on the carpet floor and try to stretch it out. I ended up effed up like this for days and had to have physical therapy to slowly work out the pinched nerve. I was basically walking like Quasimodo for a couple weeks. People would assume I was in an accident or lifting some boulder like Hercules to save a child pinned under a car. But nope, I was undone by an empty paper bag. Riding my bike home in 5th grade slowly alongside my walking friends. Friend, Drew, look where you're going. Drew, nah dude, I'm good at biking. I can do it with my eyes closed. Friend, no really dude, look out. Drew, nah man, I'm good. Instantly crashes into a parked car. Messed up my bike chain, had to drag my bike home in shame and explain to my mom why my knee and lip were bleeding. Thought I could walk my dog on a leash while riding my bike. Dog saw a squirrel and yanked me off my bike. I broke a few bones in my hand. Doc was like, what did you expect would happen? My sister's boyfriend rides his bike to walk/run their dog. They even enter bike/dog races with him. I think the lead is attached to the bike though, and he's trained for it. Also, he's a husky/malamute cross, which are two breeds bred for pulling that, so that's possibly a factor too. Oh boy, my time to shine. Age 2, stuck a nail in an electric socket. 3, ran into a telephone pole while riding my bicycle. Age 7, was playing with a razor blade that my dog had pulled out of the trash and completely sliced off the tip of my finger. Promptly passed out and was found hours later by my mom coming home from night shift. Please don't ask why, I was 7 and very impulsive. 16, had wisdom teeth out. Apparently anesthesia stays in the system longer than normal. A few days go by and I'm sitting in the dining room talking to my mom. Everything starts going black and I manage to utter uh-oh before smashing my jaw onto the tile floor. One side of my face was swollen. I looked like a little chipmunk. 18, went to grab something out of the trunk of my car. My car was parked in the driveway, which is a little bit of a slope. Reached in to grab something, which I had done many times before with the car parked exactly like this, and the trunk slammed down onto the back of my head. Nice little gash, lots of blood. I managed to make it inside before passing out that time. 20, cleaning kitchen, go to drain the water after washing dishes, and the sink strainer is stuck. Really stuck. I'm trying to pull it out with brute strength, and managed to slice my hand open on it instead. This time, I puked instead of fully losing consciousness. 29, decided to be Betty Crocker and bake homemade bread. The Pyrex either shattered when I took it out of the oven and hit cold air, or as I dropped it. It happened rather quickly, so I'm not exactly sure, but I ended up with glass in my foot. I've just moved here, I know very few people, and my spouse has gone out of town for a week. I have 2 small children and 3 big dogs running around the house, glass literally from the front door to the back door. Managed to get hold of my neighbor who takes me to the ER where they attempt to remove it. Notice I said attempt. They sent me home with glass in my foot and told me to contact a podiatrist. They were sure it was stuck in a bone or a ligament. I had glass in my foot for 20 hours total, 3 stitches, 3 weeks in a boot, not fun times. I now wear house shoes in the kitchen. 30. Walking across the playground. No holes in the ground, just a normal wooden chip-covered playground surface, and I managed to fracture a bone spur on the top of my foot, requiring surgery months later. Luckily, I already had a podiatrist. Stabbed myself in the leg with a piece of metal. It was really thin and tapered at the tip, so when you swung it, you would hear a really cool whoosh sound. I swung down way too hard and went right into my shin. Bad times. I was helping husband replace a bathroom fan, so I was standing on the side of the bathtub. I had this plastic hook glued onto the shower wall to hang a loofah on. I went to get down and slid down the wall and hooked my butt cheek to the wall. It hurt so bad, but it was so hilarious. I'm in my 40s and this happened recently. I don't know if this is the stupidest way I've injured myself ever, but this is kind of funny and it happened today. I was looking at AskReddit and there was a guy who said he had a naked pic on his underpage. So I was walking down the stairs from my apartment, I clicked on the guy's profile, and I wasn't prepared for the sheer ridiculousness of this guy's pic, lol. I missed a step and fell flat on my ass and down about 7 or 8 stairs. But the worst part is, an old lady saw me fall and picked up my phone. The naked pizza guy is still on it, and she went to speak and didn't say anything and silently handed me my phone. I can never look at her again. When I was a kid, maybe 10 or so, I had recently discovered that the feet of my prosthetics could be unscrewed and moved into different positions, so I borrowed an Allen key from my dad and took it to school so I could unscrew my feet and show my friends at recess. None of them were as blown away by this as I'd hoped. Pretty sure they're just kinda used to this thing by now. Anyway, the bell told us to get back to class, and I very quickly tightened the feet back onto the prosthetics, put my shoes back on, and started making my way back to class. As I was walking with a group of my classmates, I started to notice my legs felt wobbly. I looked down, and with every step, my feet were turning slightly outward. A normal person would have come to the conclusion, oh, I didn't tighten the screws up enough. But not me. I jumped to the conclusion of, holy shit, I can control my feet like a robot. My excitement quickly turned to dread when I realized I don't know how to control my feet. Been an amputee since I was a baby, and they kept turning until one was pointing sideways. Despite this, I kept trying to walk, and after a few more steps, the foot just fell off and I managed to slam the now footless prosthetic down, which jarred my knee and hips and caused me to slip over and faceplant onto the corner of the cement mini wall, one of those waist-high walls. Being a self-respecting 10-year-old, I started bawling my eyes out, which caught the attention of a new teacher. It's our first day, and the only disabled student is in pieces. The foot got thrown backwards when it fell off. With a nosebleed, screaming like a banshee, she didn't really know what to do since I couldn't get back up, so she gave me some tissues for my nose and made a very confused call to the maintenance man asking if he knows how to fix prosthetics, so I can get to the school nurse. TLDR, my prosthetic foot fell off and I face planted into a cement wall. When I was 8 years old, I was with my mom and her friend at Home Goods. As we were walking around, I saw a huge $900 sailboat replica. It was on the top shelf with other knickknacks on the glass shelves beneath it. I wanted to get a better look at it, but my mom refused. As she and her friend walked away, I tried to climb up the shelves to see it. Next thing I knew, I was on the ground along with everything else on the shelves. I wasn't hurt other than a cut on my knee, but everything else on the shelves were destroyed. Luckily, my mom didn't have to pay for anything. I live in Minnesota, so I'm used to kicking snow off my boots by slamming my toe part of the boot down on the ground. Well, it was summer and I happened to get my running shoes absolutely covered in mud, so I instinctively slammed my toes down on the pavement and broke 4 toes. Pen to the roof of my mouth. Don't lean back on your chair, kids. CK1 aftershave in the eyes. Don't look at mechanisms whilst you're operating. Road rash. Check the brakes on your rental moped before you need to use them. Burnt hand. Don't drop a sellotape covered penny into the glue bath and try to recover it before the machine swallows it. I could go on, but instead I'm going to take the time to reflect on how lucky I am to still be around to type this. When I was 12, I was helping my mom trim their giant mulberry tree. In a moment of great intelligence, I held the end of the branch down with one hand and then cut closer to the tree with the other. The cut branch proceeded to fly up and cut my eye. Yup, my actual eyeball. I had to get a ton of stitches on my eyeball and managed to get a fungal infection in my eye from tiny bits of bark that had gotten into my eye, extending the torture of this injury. Do you know how awful it is to get eye drops when you're traumatically injured in your eye? Because of that injury, one eye sees distant well, but not up close. and the other eye is the exact opposite. I got glasses about 10 or so years ago, but that made my headaches worse, and I didn't think they were helping my eyes, so I stopped wearing them and didn't bother going for a second opinion. I just finally got new glasses, and wow, do they make a world of difference. Thank you for listening, everyone. If you enjoyed the content, please consider subscribing. It'll be greatly appreciated. And if you want to visit the original thread, I'll link it in the description. But yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one.